Hello, YouTube. What is up? We are finally back. If you were watching this video, you survived. You waited the long wait. You did it with me. We did it together, and we're finally back. Sundays are here again. We have something to look forward to at 9 o'clock if you're watching from the east. And last night's episode was awesome. I know I'm doing this video a day late. But stick around till the end, and I'm going to make it up to you guys and offer a little giveaway at the end. So please watch till the end. I'm going to try to make this video a little short, but as you can see, I got some new posters on the wall. I got Injustice there, Walking Dead over here, and it looks like Rick doesn't really like superheroes and he wants to shoot them all. But that's besides the point. We're back, and the mid-season premiere showed last night, and what an episode it was. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a slow way to kick off the second half of the season, but what we just got done watching back forever ago, it seems like, was so crazy that you can't just kick off with more killing and more action, because that was just too much to handle. I watched the episode again before I watched last night's new episode, and I couldn't handle it. So I'm really glad they went with a slow pace for this new episode. And it was a very it was an all heavily influenced Carl and Michonne episode. They didn't show any of the other survivors. It was just Carl, Rick, Michonne, and that's all they showed the whole episode. And I think this is kind of how they're going to go about these next couple episodes. Is as you know, at the end of the whole prison attack, outbreak, whatever you want to call it, poor Herschel. I don't mean to bring that up again, but he didn't make it out. That sucks a lot because we had to see his reanimated head die again by Michonne's blade in this new episode. But you see that everybody got split up. Daryl and Beth are together. Maggie is with who is Maggie with? I don't know. Tyrese and Sasha are together. Maggie and Glenn, I guess, are together. Like I said, Beth and Daryl and Lizzie and Mika are with who knows if she's dead or not, Judith. But so everybody splits up. So these next few episodes, I think they're going to kind of focus on a couple characters and see where they're at this point in time. And so that's what they did with this episode, and they did a really great job with it. We got to see a lot of Michonne's backstory in this episode. And give me 1 second, because there was actually, you guys can still hear me, there was a free comic book day edition. It was last year, or 2 years ago. This year's was the Tyrese special, and last year's, or 2 years ago, like I said, was the Michonne special. And so these are the two people you saw in the episode. Her, I think it's her brother and her lover, or her boyfriend and her lover, or I don't know. It's some kind of weird relationship. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But this is the backstory here, and it's a little bit of a different backstory than what they showed. It wasn't really a backstory in the comics as much as it was her kind of doing a flashback and kind of hallucinating what her life was like before. And but I thought they did a really good job with that, how they like did the transition of the two men that she was talking to at the table, like becoming, you know, all dressed up in a tie, and then becoming like war hardened in their like camp clothing, dirty clothing, and then becoming her walker pets that she later turns them into. And so you really got to see why Michonne is the way she is, why she's such a dark character, and she's not so much different than Rick, because you know how Rick was hallucinating, and he was talking to Lori, and you know, he saw Shane and all this other stuff. Michonne also has the same kind of gift, if you want to call it, as Rick, as she talks to her lover, like it showed in this episode. So that was really all we got to see of Michonne, like background wise. There were a lot of cool scenes of her, you know, killing some walkers and creating new walker pets, and roaming through the woods with these walker pets beside her. And there's this one zombie that keeps walking beside her that looks almost identical to her. And every time she looks over at this walker, she remembers her past, and it drives her crazy having to look over and remember her past to the point to where finally in the episode she just slays out all the walkers around her, including her pets, and she just can't take it anymore. That was her switch that she just couldn't take having her past anymore, so she had to just let off some steam and do that. And so she was just trying to, she's by herself. She was just trying to get along, and she ended up finding some footprints, which we know are Rick and Carl's. And so that comes into play later on in the episode. So now Rick and Carl, this was such an awesome episode for them because Carl led this episode almost single-handedly, and Chandler Riggs did a great job acting in this episode. And you see a different Carl in this episode. Rick's weak. He's a different man. Things are completely different for him. He's broken. He's hurt. And Carl's not. Carl had to be the man in this episode, and this was his reality check episode. This was his episode where he needed to step up and become a man and not be the little boy who's dependent on everything. And he did this very well, but there were also some flaws because he also did need help in this episode. He tried to do a lot of stuff on his own that he shouldn't have. He did end up getting by, but he could have went about them a different way. But that's just his way of learning and growing up. Because if Rick ever dies, I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he won't. But if he does, and Carl's by himself, if he doesn't get this training now, if Rick just babies him and he sticks with Rick all the time and he doesn't learn how to do stuff on his own, he's never going to grow up, and he's going to go out in the world if Rick dies, and he's not going to know what to do. So this was an episode where he kind of like stood his ground and said, and told his dad, I can do this stuff. You are hurt. You can't do this stuff. I don't need you right now. He cussed and he did it. He threw out Shane and he did a bunch of stuff that was disrespectful to his dad. As a father-son relationship, it wasn't a good episode, but it was also showing that Carl's, this zombie apocalypse has hardened him to the point to where he can make his own decisions and he can do stuff without his dad. And so I think Rick really realizes this towards the end of the episode, but he could have went about it a different way. He didn't need to be so harsh towards Rick. He didn't need to throw out the whole Shane thing and how like he wished his dad was dead and everything like this. He didn't need to do that, but he did need the reality check and the kick in the butt to say, hey, yes, you're a man. Yes, you can do stuff on your own, but you got to be more careful and not be an idiot. Like he wasted so much ammo this episode. He did so many things that he could have done differently and got by with. But so Rick and Carl end up wandering around for a while, checking some houses, and they end up finding a house to stay in, and Rick ends up passing out or going into a coma or something like that. A bunch of people were scared that Rick had died right there, and that like later on when he wakes up and like groans that he was turned into a walker. But like if they kill off Rick in the show, it's going to be bigger than him just passing out and dying on the couch. It's going to be a bigger scene than that. It's not going to be like wake up dad, like Carl screaming wake up dad and him not waking up and then Carl being like, oh whatever. Like it's not going to be like that. It's going to be bigger than that if that happens. So like I said, Rick passes out, goes into a coma because of his injuries, because of how much he's been through, and like he just doesn't have the stamina. So he takes a little nap for the majority of the episode while Carl leads the episode and goes out and gathers some supplies and kills some walkers very poorly, but he manages. And ends up finding some pudding, losing his shoe, finding some pudding. That was a really good humorous thing. That was one of the best parts. That I think pudding was trending on Twitter later on, so that was real fun. But overall, this was kind of just like a Carl focused episode, a reality check for Carl, and they did a really good job with it. Towards the end of the episode, when Rick finally wakes up from him being passed out and him being in his coma and him finding out that Carl went out on his own, he tells him not to. He tells him you shouldn't have went out on your own. Yada yada yada. Carl says, I was fine. I can do it. And then Rick passes out again, and Carl's sitting there, and Rick ends up waking up and like making some groaning sounds to make him sound like a walker. You see Carl, holding the gun up to Rick. He's about to put him down because he thinks his dad's dead and has reanimated. But Carl couldn't do it. He couldn't shoot his dad. He kind of just put the gun down and like laid back and was gonna let Rick just eat him, and he was just gonna die with his dad, because this was also a big wake up call for Carl. For him, like I said, it was a reality check, a kick in the butt to realize, yeah, I can do stuff on my own, but while my dad's here, I might as well use him, and I still need my dad. I still need my father. I'm growing up, but I'm still not strong enough. I'm still not capable enough to do stuff that my dad can help me with. And so that kind of tied back into the relationship of Rick and Carl when they, were sitting down and making a joke about the pudding and the constant jokes about Carl winning over collecting supplies and everything. So it was a reality check for Carl. And so this was a really good episode. Really loved it. At the end of the episode, we find out that Michonne ends up following the footprints and the pudding trail back to where Rick and Carl are staying, and ends up reuniting with Carl and Rick. And I love the scene where Rick looks out the window and comes down. He's got a huge grin on his face, and he tells Carl, "It's for you." And that's such a good episode, such a good way to bring Michonne back to them. So that's going to make that group a whole lot stronger. Rick, Carl, and Michonne are like going to be such a strong group now that they're all together. It's going to start, building back up. Rick's going to start getting stronger now that Michonne's there. Now that he knows that somebody else can have an eye on Carl, because Michonne and Carl really have a good relationship. So, like I said, a very Carl-focused episode, very Michonne-focused episode, Rick and Carl relationship type thing. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So, if you've waited this long, if you've listened to me bore you for this long, that's good, because now you could possibly win some free Walking Dead stuff that is really awesome. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but the rules are this simple. If this video gets 150 views, it's not that hard. My videos have had 300-400 views before. If this video gets 150 views by, let's say, next Monday, if this video gets 150 views by next Monday, I'm going to do a giveaway video immediately after that and give away something really awesome for you guys that Walking Dead fans should love. And I mean, it's a chance to win some free awesome stuff that could possibly be worth a lot of money in the future. So you're going to like what it is, but like I said, share this with all your friends. 150 views, it's not going to be that hard. That's really not asking much. Even if you don't get your friends to watch the video, tell them to click it and watch for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever, or the whole time. I thought this video was going to be a little shorter, but I lied. But anyways, I hope you guys liked another review and another episode of Walking Dead. We're back. I'll be here every week again until the end of this season, and then we have the long wait again. But let's not think about that right now. I know I don't want to. I know you don't want to. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a dislike if you didn't. Or you can refresh it and give it another try and like it again. Comment if you have any questions, if you have any ideas for me. And I guess that is about it. So like I said, remember the giveaway. And remember to keep watching my videos and share them. And I will see you guys next week.